Hello, welcome back again. So it looks like we're having lots of red today in the Nasdaq. As I made videos about Google and Amazon, you may want to check those after you are done with this video. But Apple is dropping as well. Sales dropped 5% in the largest quarterly revenue decline since 2016. Again, remember we're talking about Apple, and having a sales drop is not what they do. So what is going on with the stock price? I can always refresh here and see whether we have any news. 3% down. 3%, yeah, it's not that awful here. Amazon and Google were down a little bit more so far. Again, these things change. We're in between pretty much the calls, so things could be changing till tomorrow. But let's examine what is going on with the company and what they reported, because this is very, very important in order to understand what is going on with the consumer spending market as well, because that's important as well, apart from the company itself. Now, Apple missed expectations for revenue, profit, and sales pretty much everywhere, as we would kind of expect currently in this current market. We kind of got a hint because of the many people that were laid off recently, and we're hearing about cutting down expenses and things of that sort. So we do know that there's a little bit of a recessionary pressure here, sort of. So I don't know if we're going to be entering a full-blown recession, but we're having companies cutting down on spending, which is overall a good thing, like cutting down on fluff. But you don't want to overdo it, and you don't want your consumers pretty much spending less because of an overall stop in the economy. So Apple CEO Tim Cook said three factors impacted the results. A strong dollar, obviously. Apple handles international affairs, and a strong dollar impacts their sales. And production issues in China, again, we know about this, the lockdown issues, the supply chain issues, obviously affecting the iPhones and the overall macroeconomic environment. And a third factor, the challenging, macroeconomic environment. Now, Apple shares down about 3% right now as I'm making this video. Again, this can be changing a little bit. Now, EPS that they reported 1.88 versus 1.94, so a drop here. So that's a drop in the bottom line, as we call it. That's the net income, the EPS, down 10%, 11% year over year. A significant decline. Revenue of 117.15 billion versus 121 that was expected. That's a significant decline again, about 5.5% year over year, and more significant in absolute terms. And in iPhone revenue here, again, a decline 65 to 68. Mac revenue 7.7 to 9.6. That's very, very significant, 28%. That's a lot, especially for Macs. And I do have a Mac, and I do like Macs, so I'm actually surprised. This has a lot of different repercussions. It's not only about the customers; it's also about businesses, because a lot of businesses are also buying Macs. So you can kind of see maybe they are switching to cheaper alternatives. So this number could tell us a few things. Now the iPad is also down quite significantly, and this could also have a similar impact, 30% here, even more than the Mac. Other products, 13.48 versus 15.23, also down, and services up 6.4%. So services, again, it's things like, for instance, the store that they have, the Apple Store. So this is actually up. So this is interesting, that actually consumer spending here in the services revenue is actually still up. Very interesting. And gross margins a little bit higher, but about the same, pretty much. That was as it was estimated. So they haven't provided guidance for the current quarter ending in March. It hasn't provided guidance since 2020. Remember when they were criticized about not providing guidance, Apple that is, and because of the pandemic. There was uncertainty about potential guidance, and so they haven't been doing that for a while, and obviously this definitely hurts them both on the upside and the downside, the fact that they are not providing guidance, generally speaking. Now the quarter was a stunning miss by Apple, and its first earnings miss versus consensus expectations in almost 7 years. So imagine that, kind of pointing to what is happening right now in the overall economy. Apple is pretty much the biggest company over here, a huge part of the Nasdaq, and so sales going down is something to overall fear as an investor, at least for the time being. And we do know that the economy is definitely slumping right now, a big factor for what is happening with the Nasdaq. And it was only Meta so far that has been blowing out expectations, mainly because it has been dropping a lot, I would say, and then because of the buybacks, which make a ton of sense. So, what we want to examine, of course, and again, Tim Cook has been talking about production levels that Apple is comfortable with, a challenging environment. We talked about these things, and the article goes in more detail about what Tim Cook said about Apple and how they are going back to normalcy after being able to produce and manufacture as much as they wanted to. And what we do want to examine here is we kind of want to see what is happening with the company's financials, and whether these financials are actually making any sense for us to be entering the company, buying the stock, as it's currently sitting at 146, so it's down a little bit, although recently it has been going up. So again, if I refresh here, I am refreshing because this will be changing for the most part quite a lot, like now down a little bit more, 145 over here. And you will see that the P ratio of the company is sitting at 25 and the price to free cash flow at 21.4. And this may be going down a little bit more now with a drop if this persists. And the company has been buying back shares, which is a thing that I love, obviously. So it is a company that sounds interesting, but I don't know if it's cheap enough is the thing. And we do know that they are doing the trick with the overall equity going down. Basically, they were able to get tons of debt for free, for cheap, I should say, because of the interest rates back then. So they were artificially bringing down their equity and thus increasing their return on equity, because when your debt is higher, when your equity is lower, this means then you're getting a higher return on equity if you're sustaining your net income levels. And so this is what's happening over here. And the net income margins that the company has about 24.5% over here, with a gross profit, as we talked about, 43, 45. It really depends on the quarter. And you will see that they're paying a little bit of a dividend, but it's almost negligible here, so not much point in talking about this one. 0.6%, a very, very low ratio of their free cash flow or net income. But I do want to examine for sure what is happening with their stock evaluator. With the stock evaluation based on their discounted cash flows, based on their cash flow pretty much, and after we discount it. And so you will see that the revenue growth of the company has been lower recently, but they're still growing. And so we will go for something that is conservative, like something like 3, 5, and 7 here. And this may be too conservative, frankly, even though the company is pretty huge. They're making huge amounts of revenue, as you'll see here. So it's not easy for them to be growing at a tremendous pace, So they're probably going to be growing at a lower pace. In terms of net income margins, they're somewhere around 25%, it looks like over here. So I'm going to go 23, 24, and 25 here. It looks like they're sustaining their margins. After all, they're selling pretty expensive items. And in terms of the free cash flow, you'll see that we are sitting around 110 for the most part. So I'm going 100, 105, and 110 here. And the annual return, 13%, is what I'm going to be going for. Now, I suspect this is still going to be expensive, and as I would expect, it is still expensive. Yet remember, it really depends on what kind of company you are buying. So this is a company that I would be glad to pay a little bit more for. And I wouldn't go overboard, like 150. Right now, I think it was 144 after it's down a little bit. It's probably a little bit too much, but it's not insanely much. Like it would probably have to go down significantly for me personally to buy. I probably want it at around $100. Now, it didn't reach that level, I believe. Did it? Actually, let me examine, because I'm not entirely sure. I think it was near that, but recently, the most recent months, yeah, it was like 120 something, but it didn't really reach the 100 spot, where would be definitely my sweet spot. So if this goes back down to 100, it's probably unlikely. Or of course, if its financials get better and it stays at the same price, then it may be worth it. It may be worth entering. But right now, I think it's expensive, and I would probably want to wait. Now, again, it is a company that is fantastic. It's a great company, and it may be a nice opportunity to be buying as it's going down. But it will have to go down a little bit more for me. So if it goes down again to somewhere around 100, 110, maybe. This would be probably my sweet spot, and I would love to hold this company, but I don't want to compromise too much. I think 100, 110 is probably fair for such a company. Again, it's a great company, a company that I would love to have to my portfolio, but it's still a little bit more expensive than what I would like it to be. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That's what happened with earnings so far, at least. Remember, things change as we are, amidst the calls. But I will let you know if something substantial happens, if something substantial changes. I will definitely be letting you know in a new video. But thank you for watching. Please leave a like. That helps the channel grow a ton, and it really helps me make more videos. And subscribe if you're new around here, of course. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.